Hi, Geminis, and welcome to your January 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky, coming on to talk to you briefly about your month ahead. Thank you so much for being here, Geminis. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the subscribe button below. I will be providing you some intuitive messages for your month ahead, as well as a week-to-week tarot forecast and an extended reading on Patreon. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so January of 2022, I feel that you have come to a certain level of prominence that you might have never experienced before. There's a large likelihood of business success, a large likelihood of promotions, and I don't know, maybe you made more money than you thought you would in 2021, but things are going to start becoming less and less about money. Nonetheless, I feel that it's an important thing for you in January 2022. You might want to get things straight in that vicinity and enjoy the abundance that you are seemingly inevitably bringing in this month. I'm loving to see the Ten of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles coming up in your reading, and Queen of Pentacles. Whenever the King and Queen of Pentacles are together, it's usually a sign that you are really understanding the material reality of your experience. So you might have a very good idea of how to budget your life. You might have a wonderful, wholesome diet that's working for you better than anything else, or you might have the right idea about how to implement these things realistically. So it's likely that the business structure that you're thinking about, or the diet plan that you're thinking about, or the things that you might implement are really perfect for you. So I would definitely suggest actually jumping into those things, actually starting those journeys with healthier budget, healthier diet, healthier general experience, because now is going to be a better time than ever for you to let go of some old habits, death and the devil, and the strength card coming up. So that's a combination that says there are some things that cannot actually come past January, and you need to really understand some of the reforms that you want to push through in your life, because it does look to me like the energy of reform. And it's going to be in a very obvious and direct way. So it's going to be important, I think, if you need to make any major changes in your life, to maybe get it all out on paper, almost as like a contract with yourself. There's something about difficulty with contracts, or difficulty with actually performing to the capacity that you sign yourself up for. That's the best thing that I can say. You might want to really look at performing in the capacity that I've signed up for as a Gemini person, following through on the verbal contracts I've made, living up to my words, saying what I mean, saying what I mean, meaning what I say. These are really important things, because I'm feeling a throat chakra expansion coming for you, where it's not going to be possible to not follow through on what you say anymore. Okay? It's not going to be possible to break contracts. It's not going to be possible to just preach a big game and not follow through. 2021 already made that really tough, and it's a new year, it's a calendar new year, and Capricorn season is all about contracts and commitments. And Gemini can be a sign that can struggle in this area, because you feel what you need to do. You're very good at communicating what you need to do, but sometimes that follow through is an area for struggle for Gemini, because when you communicate things to another person as a Gemini, it sounds better to them than you might feel it to be. So it's even harsher to them if you can't follow through, or if you can't really physically do what you're saying you can do. So I would definitely be very cautious this month with, advertising your business to something it can't stand up for, like doing sales, doing, programs or operations that are not actually possible. You could actually get into like legal issue with that, or you could get into some kind of like, not necessarily legal, but just reputational issues, or you could just have weird little conflicts based on, maybe advertising, or coming off as if you can do more than you are able to do. So what I would do if I were a Gemini in the month of January is I would par this down a little bit, and I would actually advertise less for my business. I would do less sales. I would do less coupons. I would do less, it doesn't even just have to be business, but even with relationships, I might commit to a little bit less. I might, there's a lot that I would pull back on, okay? And I'm recommending this for everyone coming into 2022, because there are going to be these new things that we want to do. We're going to need some extra time. We're going to need some extra room to fill stuff out. And we're going to need extra energy, because there's a high likelihood, as Mercury's going retrograde this month, of, I don't know, like having some sort of logistical issue that you couldn't have predicted for. There could be like a tornado or a storm or something that might destroy your facilities, or I mean, that sounds very bleak, but it's like take it hyperbolically, obviously, if you're not like running a business or something. But you could have weird unexpected things like that. Like a storm could come through and you might have to like repair windows, or you might have to like face things that you don't tend to face. You might have to make like insurance claims. Definitely a good time to have any type of insurance, health, business, identity, car, all that type of stuff. This is different in different countries. In the US, I know all of our money goes to insurance and taxes. Insurance and taxes. It's all that we do here. Sometimes I like to joke that my content creation business is the tax, insurance, and legal and accounting fee facilitator. That should be its alternative name. But that is the life of running a business. So you might be feeling that right now too, Gemini. I'm feeling you just to be very entrepreneurial, very savvy, and very enterprising right now. But you might want to allocate extra funds or allocate extra energy, again, whether this is a business or a relationship, to being able to be apt in unexpected circumstances. So rainy day funds in your personal life, saving more than you've ever saved before, spending less than you've ever spent before. All of these are great ways to work with this energy, because it just really helps us to feel confident and strong enough to work with the new energy coming on in 2022. I'm not going to lie to you guys, by about March of 2022, we are probably going to have some very completely new territory things that we're doing. And if we have spent all of 2021, and especially like January of 2022, spending everything that we make, living paycheck to paycheck, unnecessarily. So certainly there are people and times in every person's life usually where they have to do that, and that's just how they make ends meet. But if you're kind of getting more affluence in your life, or if you're making more, it's funny to see how even people making like really, really huge amounts of money still manage to live paycheck to paycheck in society in general right now. So the whole idea of living paycheck to paycheck really is a culture of its own, or it's kind of a societal construct of its own, regardless of income. So I would definitely look at it regardless of what, you feel about like your socioeconomic standing, like regardless of whether you feel like it's not possible for me not to live paycheck to paycheck, I only make enough just to get by, or whether you're like, I don't know, really getting high up in that chain. Either way, you can really be messing up at this time if you're not careful. So it's really about getting creative, I think, in our own experience right now here in January of 2022. How can we creatively save more? Maybe this looks like more roommates. Maybe this looks like a cheaper area to live. Maybe this also looks like, I don't know, there's a lot of creative solutions. And you might want to spend some time here thinking about how you can be less contracted. Oftentimes, to me, the devil card, okay, it means that we have some type of non-tangible factor in our lives. Like this could be an addiction, this could be a lifestyle, this could be a very non-tangible thing. Oftentimes the addictions themselves aren't even about substance. So if you have like a caffeine addiction, if you have like a smoking addiction, if you have an alcohol addiction, certainly those substances have a life of their own in your body, and it does get addicted to it. But a lot of it, as any addicts would know, has to do with the surrounding habits. So going to purchase the coffee, or going to purchase the cigarettes, walking out of your house and having that moment to yourself while you smoke, or like, I don't know, pouring that hot water over the coffee grounds, okay? Loading the coffee machine. These things are every bit as much a part of the addiction, because the brain really has a big attachment to repetition. It helps to structure the nervous system in a healthy way. So we have to understand that about ourselves at this point in time too, to get past some of these addictions, because things like a coffee addiction or things like a smoking addiction just are not sustainable for anybody economically, and then health-wise as well. Neither of those habits are at all good for the health when they become habitual. Certainly smoking is worse, but coffee is also not good as a habitual habit. 2022 is going to provide us with all of the extra energy, all of the gravitas that we need And to the point where like coffee or any type of stimulant can make people look mentally unwell this year. Like there's a big issue with mania for a lot of people this year. Even if you don't like have any type of mental health issue that has been associated with that before, like people can just get very, very upbeat. I mean, I'm sure you can already tell from this video, like I'm already feeling the upbeat energy of 2022 Year of the Tiger. It's very strong and enduring and ready to pounce on stuff and get stuff done and suggest things. And I'm sure that will translate in these videos as well. But again, as a Gemini person, as a very energized sign, Gemini Sagittarius axis, you want to start preparing to really par things down, winterizing your life in every single way, cutting expenses, raising your savings. Making a new business is wonderful. I recommend that for anybody this year. Like if they have a good solid business plan, if they've done all the consults and all the verifications that they needed to do, it's a very good year for that too. And I'm feeling a very enterprising energy. As a reader, I've started to talk a lot more about this stuff because it's an area that I specialize in. But with all these pentacle cards, I have talked even more about it in your reading. Non-monetarily, in the realm of relationships and health, I think that there's only uphill in a good way. So downhill for some of you, but it's like you're really making an upward progress. The Strength card, the Three of Swords. You could have a breakup. I mean, this isn't like a hard breakup. I mean, you could be ghosted by someone, but that's always a good reason. So if you guys have been watching my channel for a long time, when I first started, I really specialized and focused on relationship healing, trauma healing from relationships. But I feel like I've said a lot of what I needed to say on that. I mean, I have a lot more that I could bring to the table, but at this point in time, I'm pretty sure that many of you know that if a relationship ended, or if you had someone ghost you, or you lost someone in a romantic context, that is nothing but a good thing ever. And society really romanticizes the never being able to move on, always feeling nostalgic and sentimental about old relationships, but never is the loss of a romantic relationship a bad thing, okay? Typically, the universe tries to keep people together, okay? It really does. It tries to keep romantic relationships tied. It's actually very hard to break those ties. So if they do get broken, it usually means that there's a lot of bad stuff there that both parties need to get away from. So if you are having anything there, as the Strength card and the Devil card and the Death card and the Three of Swords suggest that you might have a breakup or a cut and tie, thank God for that blessing. Now you can do what you really needed to do. However, for the Geminis who are coupled and know that they're not having that, this could indicate that you need to make sure you're not operating too contractually with your romantic partners. I'm feeling too much of a business context. Really watch out for starting businesses with like your spouse or something. Like going two ways on a business venture with a spouse. Pretty much anybody can tell you who's done that it was never a great idea. It's not really good for romantic partnerships to become business partnerships. There can be a lot to gain there, but I'm feeling that the universe really wants us to bifurcate those sectors to a degree, even though they have really merged together a lot. And, by the end of January, I'm sensing nothing but great windfall for you and great abundance, Strength in the Eight of Wands. You're just likely to really gain exponentially from what you invest your time, money, or energy into. So that's very promising, but you can see you've got a bit of a channel to cross there. And let's go ahead and talk about that and cover that in your week-to-week Gemini. In the first week, you've got the Devil rooted down by Queen of Pentacles. It's just got to be healthy. Like, you've got to see these devil tendencies. So a tendency to leverage your energy via addiction or poor management of a business, poor management of expenses, to be a leverage to prop up like your lifestyle or to prop up just your feeling of being able to make it through the day. You just got to scrap it. Okay. You just got to push it out. And I'm being less and less gentle with people about this right now because it's not going to be easy is the thing. We've got a lot of things coming in like inflation globally. We've got like, weird things with the monetary system. We've got also very manic and neurotic people in the year of 2022. So it's not very easy to like get ahead regardless of like what the income or what like, or whether you have like the best relationships in your life. There's going to be weird stuff in all these areas. And it really takes a deliberate, creative person to get ahead. And we can already see that. I bet you already see that coming out of 2021. It's already very visible. But that's why this combination of like the Devil and the Queen of Pentacles is very relevant, because it's like the Queen of Pentacles always just knows, like regardless of how, I don't know, inflated a currency is, regardless of how like volatile a market is, regardless of the food supply, Queen of Pentacles knows how to thrive and make it work through understanding it and just choosing what it takes to do it, you know, in a healthy, integrity-based way. But the Devil is there, and it's like, but you could just apply for a credit card, but you could just take out a huge loan, but you could just start drinking 7 cups of coffee a day and work 2 extra hours and make like $40 extra a day. How about that? And that's where you've got to see that for what it is. Like if you have anything in the first week of January that's kind of like, but you could just do this to like make that unrealistic thing work, instead of doing what the universe is trying to like signal you to do to really help you get ahead, you could just like leverage in some way or another. Try to see through that and try to just scrap it. Try to see it for what it is and just do what you know the Queen of Pentacles would do. In the second week, you have 10 of Pentacles rooted down by the Death card. So you've actually come to some type of pinnacle, some type of summit in your life. It's possible that a certain business has done what it could do, and this is kind of like the summit. This is the top point for it. It's also possible that a relationship has reached its top point, and sometimes a sign like Gemini can see that as a negative. Like, oh no, it's not going to climb anymore. It's not going to go any higher. It's not going to get any better than this. I understand that that can be worrisome in a time like this, but try to enjoy the plateaus, okay? I've worked with a lot of people one-on-one who've had like very successful businesses, people who are like CEOs, people who do like really crazy stuff. And oftentimes, especially the ones that I've worked with who are older in their years, they regret not having enjoyed the plateaus or the summits more, okay? Because people who are like ambitious as Geminis tend to be a very purposeful sign, and it's going to go off the charts in the year of 2022. You know, just having had North Node in your sign, there's going to be a plateau, if not a slight downturn. And what I'm trying to tell you is that people who are super successful really regret when they take that wrong, when they think that that's a bad thing, when the times in their life where they had a downturn or a plateau and they got, you know, pissed off about it, or they got like up in their feelings about that. And certainly there are times where you have to, like if things are turning downward because of, you know, a cog that's not well oiled or like something that's really out of place, you got to fix that. But if it's a natural turn of events and you've done what you can do, this is most likely the universe recommending you to fill this extra space or this extra time or this sort of seemingly predictable period with something that you actually really want and something that you might not have a lot of context with. So, you know, in the second week of January, I would recommend an embrace of the plateau or an embrace of even the downturn, okay? Somehow this is going to really benefit you. Okay, week 3, you've got the 3 of Pentacles rooted down by King of Pentacles. This could honestly be like the separation of like business partners, all this Pentacles energy with this kind of breakup energy. This could be like business contracts being canceled. This could be, you know, having mixed business and pleasure too much. Sometimes Geminis really struggle with that because you're so magnanimous and so friendly. Everybody wants to be friends with Gemini, and Gemini sometimes really does make business and pleasure work. But it's not looking like it's working very well at this time if it's past a point of professionalism. So there's a big lesson there in the third week. And also, if you're involved romantically with someone who's very like business-minded or someone who is very much operating in the material plane, you might need more than that at this point. You might need more than just that solid person. You might need more than just somebody who understands like how the stock market works. You might just need more than that. I feel that you need... What's missing here? I mean, you've got a little bit of everything. You've got, I guess there's no cups. So maybe you need a little bit of more like water energy in your life. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer energy to understand this plateau. Because I don't think that the business manager or the broker or the accountant is going to really put this plateau in perspective to you in the same way that, an empath or a psychic or even like a relationship counselor or a psychologist will. If you're having problems in your life, I wouldn't advise this for the other signs, but you need to go more the emotional route than you need to go the material route, because you've got that material stuff covered. Like, look at you, check you out. Week 4, you've got the Strength card rooted down by the 8 of Wands. It all works out in the end. You have a wealth of strength. You have maybe a lot of things that came through to you that you never knew you would get. So unexpected inheritances, possible this entire year for you. Also, I see honestly empty space or extra time as this energy in a weird roundabout way. So we would usually see the 8 of Wands as like a lot of random things flying at you, and you maybe have no time because you're, looking through all of these random abundances. But I almost feel that you have to find strength in an abundance of extra time, because it's the only way that you're really going to push through on this journey to purpose discovery. And I mean, for the Geminis who've already done it, who've already like registered and recognized the purpose and are already on path in correlation with it, this could be the month where it really gets off the ground, or this could be the month where you really turn a corner with it. So congratulations if you're there. If you still haven't committed to it yet, I think the reading will be more resonant for you, because this reading really became about that. But if you haven't committed to it yet, you might just need even more time and more savings, more like just material world reminders that it's okay, that you're not like an indentured servant. Like you money doesn't have to be the only reason you live. Of course, we don't want to just go insane and like quit our job with like no plans or expectations of how to, bridge that gap. But I mean, I recommend for anybody who's not like really satisfied with where they're at to start making preparations. Particularly year of 2023 is very, very difficult for people who aren't listening to these calls to go elsewhere, or aren't abiding by these need for shifts in lanes. Okay. It doesn't have to happen this year, but the preparations really have to start happening. And it is best, I mean, even if in 2021 we had already shifted lanes, but I understand it wasn't feasible for most people. But again, if you saw my 2022 year ahead forecast, I talked about how we have this like segment of time, honestly, from like 2020 to 2024, to really fulfill that. But the closer and closer we get to 2024, the more it's like getting heavier and heavier to be like forcing yourself to like be someone you're not, or to be just connecting to the money plane and nothing else, as so many people are. Like, so many people are just giving their life force over to these jobs and these paychecks just because it's like a semblance of security. And the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and Capricorn of 2020 made that so like soulful for people, just the money thing. And that we should already be seeing as a big threat to our reason for living, okay, at this time. And the universe is very lenient. It really like gives us time to make those preparations and make those arrangements. It understands that if we could just snap our fingers and have what we wanted, nothing would be happening in the first place. That would be like death. Okay, this would be like the energy of the death card, because it wouldn't give any real need for anybody to yearn or want for anything, because it would be so achievable. But so this whole like idea of like preparation and build up and, appropriate series of events to warrant a lane shift, like all of that has its place. And I think that it is during this time, but it's not always like that. Okay. Jupiter and Neptune and Pisces make it really appropriate to like shift lanes, or to walk through a new door, or to enter into a very new path. And just because it's so easy and it's so prominent, like a lot of people won't do it because it seems so easy, but I would recommend it this year. Okay. And I mean, really just understanding that 2020 to 2024 timeline of like changing paths. Okay. Is important. But anyway, Gemini, I'm going to do an extended reading for you on Patreon. What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about a little bit more about overcoming addictive cycles. I want to talk a little bit more about recognizing and registering this lane shift as well, or this change in purpose or path. And yeah, I definitely recommend the Patreon page. I do bonus weekly tea chats every Saturday, and it's a really wonderful service. I am very lucky to have many supporters on Patreon, and they seem to really enjoy it. So come check it out. I'll link it below and in the center of your screen now. Have a wonderful month, Geminis. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Do subscribe if you're new and hit that like button. That's a totally free way to support the channel. And have a wonderful month. Let's do your extended. Much love. Bye.